Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Noah from PhoneDog.com, and I'm back with the Nokia E75, the newest Nokia E-Series device. This was launched at WOMWorld Congress, and not actually out yet. I'm doing this video on the 23rd of March, and I've been hearing that the 25th might be the release date, somewhere around then, so this should be officially available from Nokia sometime very soon. But thanks again to the folks at WOMWorld who sent this over so we could do an early review of it. Check out the unboxing video if you haven't already. I've had the phone for, I guess, about a week and a half or so now, and I really like it. Overall, really impressed with the device. I think the form factor is terrific. It's kind of the follow-up, you know, the E71 thin candy bar phone. And this is the kind of the follow-up in some ways to that device, but it's not a candy bar. Instead, it's a horizontal slider, so you've got you can use it as a candy bar this way with your straight dialing pad on the front, and then you can slide the full QWERTY out, and then I can hold it the right way up, and you can use the phone this way for all your messaging needs and all that kind of stuff. Runs Series 60. It's very thin, less than 15 millimeters thick. 3.2 megapixel camera on the back. It's GSM with HSDPA, Edge, Wi-Fi. It's compatible with what's it called? UPnP. That you know what I'm talking about. The protocol for controlling different devices over Wi-Fi, that kind of thing. It has the new Nokia Messaging on it, so you can set up whatever email, not Microsoft email, not your corporate email, but your personal email account. You can get it to push out to the phone. It's got the Nokia dual mode thing where you can go from set up one home screen for work, so all your work stuff, work calendar, work email, all that, and then hit a button to switch to the home mode. You know, it's got all the latest Series 60 stuff on it, but really it's the form factor here that's the big deal. I really have enjoyed using it. It's very sleek, one of the more stylish Nokia phones in a while. Like the E71, it's got the metal back, the brushed metal on the back and the metal body, so it feels solid. One complaint I had with the build of the phone is the D-pad. I got a little bit of creak in the D-pad sometimes, pushing to the bottom when I would go to push back up. I don't know if you can hear that, but I would click to the bottom and there'd be a little bit of a, it would kind of stick for a second, or I mean stick a little bit, and then I'd touch the top. And that's not pushing the button in, that's just kind of it gets stuck. So a little bit of a build quality issue there, and then also a little bit of a build quality issue, the bottom of the dialing pad layer down in here, a little bit of creak, just a little bit, not a big deal, but the problem is this is a high-end phone, a luxury phone. When it comes out, it's gonna come out unlocked, and it's gonna sell probably for around $500 out of the gate. So this is a pretty high-end device. Hopefully I got, you know, a little bit of a pre-production model. I don't know if I did or not, it came in the full packaging, but hopefully they'll get those issues. You know, it was just an issue I had with this particular device, and it won't plague the whole production run of the phone. Kind of minor issues. Otherwise, again, you know, slim enough to fit in my pocket easily. 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on top, which is nice to see. The camera works pretty well, autofocus, flash, VGA video capture. As a messaging phone, it's great. The keyboard, I actually had to get used to the keyboard because the keys are so big. I'm used to devices like this, like the US released devices, the Rant and the Rumor and those kinds of phones that have the horizontal slider where the keys are much smaller. But on the E75, it's very spacious. You can see how big, I mean, the space bar is huge on this thing, but all the buttons are very spacious. And so actually, in using the phone, my thumbs had to kind of travel further to the left and the right than they're used to. So once I got, you know, had it for a couple of days, I got used to it, but at first I was realizing I had to stretch further over to get to like the A than I was used to. That's not a complaint, just, you know, the keyboard is that big. Really comfortable to type on, really enjoyed it. The connectivity was great. I used it on T-Mobile and on AT&T, and on AT&T I got 3G no problem. The speeds were good. It doesn't work with T-Mobile 3G. It's different frequency banding. So from the US, AT&T will get 3G, T-Mobile you'll be Edge only, and then of course it has Wi-Fi as well. You know, the standard issue, Series 60 quirks in terms of having to manually connect. Each time I connect to the internet, having to manually choose what access point I want to use, that kind of thing. You know, there's some things that I'm not the most hardcore Symbian user, but there's some things that looked a little bit nicer, and you know, the messaging interface a little bit snazzier maybe than the last Nokia device I use. This is the Gmail interface, and you can sort on the top here now. You can sort by your different mailboxes, and then you can also sort by, so you can access your different mailboxes rather, and then on this side you can sort by date sender, all that. The new Nokia messaging system, you can enter up to 10 personal email addresses for push delivery. It worked well. The email system worked well. I also set this up with, those of you who have been following me know I've been a little bit obsessed with Twitter lately. I'm trying to curb that, trying to find the right, the right balance. But I loaded up Twibble, which is a free, see, this is what happens if you're not used to Symbian. When you access the internet for data services, you get that, how do you want to connect? And right now I don't have an active SIM card in, so it's asking me to search for a Wi-Fi network. But anyway, it worked fine. The reception was fine. I didn't have any problems with the device as far as internet connectivity goes. It's just the way the software works. It's a little bit more cumbersome than a device like iPhone or T-Mobile G1 that U.S. consumers might be used to. Anyway, Twibble worked fine for Twitter. Not as full-featured, not as quite as many full-featured Twitter apps as there are on the iPhone platform, but worked just fine. The Nokia Series 60 browser worked well. I put Skyfire on it. It was kind of so-so. Nokia Maps works well. It has a GPS built in. 3-month trial of the Nokia Maps also. Really, overall, really enjoyed using the device, like I said. In addition to the little complaints about my concerns about the build quality and the complaints I had about this particular device, I also kind of wish it had a bigger display. I personally would be fine to give up the dialing keypad in favor of a full-width display, and then just be able to use down here to use the QWERTY. Now the thing with that is, well, if you don't have a dialing keypad and you have a full-length display, how are you going to dial the phone unless you have to open it every time? And then you get into touchscreen land and you want to have a touchscreen. And when I mentioned this to a friend of mine who works at Nokia, he said, oh, so you want the N97 basically. And that's the thing with this device. It'll be interesting to see kind of how it's accepted, because what you've got now with Nokia is you've got the E71, which is a little bit older, and so now it's still a great phone, but it's being sold for a little bit cheaper. You've got the E63, more recently released, supposed to be a cheaper version of the E71, but because it came out later, it's still selling for closer to full price. So actually you can pick up an E71 for just a few bucks more than an E63 online. Now you've got the E75 coming out, which is going to be for about 500 bucks from what I've seen unlocked, which is a premium pricing, definitely. And then, consumers who might be interested in buying this, I wonder if they're going to buy it because they're going to see, I'm sure people will, but I wonder how many of them are just going to wait for the N97 to come out, because, the N97, the full touchscreen, the more refined Series 60 interface, refined for touch with all the Facebook connectivity, all the new kind of people-centric conversation, threaded conversation, contact, all that integrated contact conversation notification system that we've seen in the UI on the N97, 32 gigs of built-in storage, all that stuff we know is coming, the higher-end camera on the N97. So it'll be interesting to see how many people just pick this one up, how many are willing to wait for the N97. But again, I really like this device. I think if I was going to be using a Nokia right now, this is the device I would get. It was the E71 for a while, but this form factor to me is great. They've made it thin enough. The problem with dual sliders, and I don't know if I have another one handy right now. I do. Hang on. So I've got two other sliders here, the T-Mobile G1 and the HTC Fuse, the Touch Pro AT&T version of the Fuse. And these are also both horizontal sliding phones, as you can see. And the problem with most phones like this is they're bulky, they're very thick. You get the G1 next to the E75, and we'll get those lined up there, much thicker. You get the Fuse next to the E75, even thicker still. So Nokia really did a great job, I think, of solving the problem of having the sliding QWERTY functionality while keeping the phone svelte and sexy. And I think they did a great job. Really like the form factor. Again, this phone with a full-length touchscreen on top, maybe that's what the E90 is. Well, the N97 rather looks to be a little bit bulkier. I remember when I played with it in Spain, it felt a little bulkier. Anyway, so a big thumbs up to the E75, so long as you don't mind paying a premium for it, and B, using the S60 operating system, which I think is kind of long in the tooth these days. I would prefer to use Apple iPhone OS, Android OS, although Android OS doesn't have as many applications, or maybe even I really like HTC's TouchFlow 3D, especially the new version of it that's coming out on the new Touch Diamond 2 and Touch Pro 2 later this year, running on top of Windows Mobile. Not a big Windows Mobile fan, but I like TouchFlow. But if you don't mind using S60, and it's a great operating system, it's just, the UI is getting a little old. This is really a sexy device, worked really well for me, and one of the better QWERTY boards you're going to find on the market, very comfortable to type on. There you go. I hope I didn't repeat myself too much there, but I wanted to make sure you understand. Great form factor. It's the Nokia E75. It's available in copper, which you see here. Also available in red and black. It should be launching literally any day now. They're saying, I keep hearing March, late March, and March is almost over. So there you go. Probably be about $500 unlocked. And again, in the US, it will work on AT&T or T-Mobile, but if you want to get 3G data connectivity, AT&T rather, only in the US. Of course, it'll work, around the globe as well on GSM networks. There you go. Much more on the E75. And also, hearing that there's a phone that's going to look something like this, an Express Music phone with the same sort of QWERTY, horizontal QWERTY slider, coming to T-Mobile USA. That's the rumor I've been hearing lately. So stay tuned for more on that as well. Of course, CTIA coming up in just about a week. I'll be headed out to Vegas starting Tuesday, March 31st, a week from tomorrow. I'll be out in Vegas covering whatever it is that comes out at CTIA next week. Looking forward to that. iPhone OS 3 just came out. Lots of new iPhone rumors. Probably a new iPhone in June. Palm Pre, of course, on deck. All kinds of stuff. It's cell phone season, kids. And while it's cell phone season, don't forget that you can, first of all, you can follow me on Twitter. If you use the Twitter, there you go. Phone Dog Noah. That's me. And you can win free phones just like this dude right here, A. Castro. You see him? You see him right there, A. Castro? He won. He won a Samsung Propel. As I'm doing this video, the current prize is the Samsung Rant. Who knows what it'll be when you're watching this video, though. Thanks to all of our friends and sponsors, including Nokia. All kinds of phones lined up for giveaway. OnePod Bandit, you can play on Phone Dog, you can play on Facebook. It's free. You have to live, I think, in the US or Canada to win. But the rules are all up there. Go check it out. You can win a free phone. All right? I think I'm done now. Till next time, I'm Noah from PhoneDog.com. Again, thanks so much to the folks at WOMWorld for sending out the Nokia E75, a Series 60 phone that I really enjoyed testing. Till next time, we'll see you later. Thanks for watching.